A lot of things are going on in the world right now, from physical wars between countries to tariff wars. And in the middle of the chaos, there's us, desperately trying to invest wisely and protect our portfolios. But how exactly do we do that? Is there really any magic formula that can help us become wealthy by the end of this terrible runway? Well, we're about to take a deep dive into the truth. Now, there isn't really a magic formula, but there's one method that comes pretty close. It's not new, it's been around for decades, and it's used by some of the most successful investors. We're going to break it down into 5 steps. Starting with the first step of this method, not listening to the crowd. We have to be the black sheep because if we follow the crowd, we won't outperform the average. So, whenever you hear your neighbor talking about a hot new stock or telling you to sell, it's probably a good idea to take it with a grain of salt. The same goes for news. It shouldn't scare you or push you into emotional decisions that could hurt you in the long run. The next thing we should do in the midst of the chaos is hold more cash than usual. It might sound counterintuitive, especially when everyone's talking about being fully invested or not letting your money sit idle. But in times like these, having extra cash isn't laziness, it's strategy. Cash gives you breathing room, it gives you clarity. When the market is swinging wildly and emotions are running high, that cash acts like a buffer. It keeps you from making desperate moves. It lets you wait, think, and act on your terms, not the market's. So while others might scoff at the idea of sitting on cash, we know better. Sometimes the smartest move is to pause, not play. The third and very crucial part of this method is not just to be careful, but to actively look for opportunities, especially when things seems uncertain or bleak. Historically, the best investment often appears during the worst of times. It could be high quality stocks trading at a discount or even positions we already hold dropping to attractive price levels. This is when we need to stay calm, focused, and ready to act, not react. These moments of market fear are often when future gains are born, but in order to take advantage of them, we need to have the mindset and the means. That's exactly why we're patient and intentional with our cash. It's not just about playing defense, it's about being ready to strike when the time is right. The fourth step is to diversify not just what you invest in, but how you think. Most people talk about diversification in terms of spreading money across different stocks or sectors, and that's important, but what's often overlooked is mental diversification, developing the ability to see things from different angles and challenge your own assumptions. In a noisy, unpredictable market, the biggest risk isn't always a bad investment, it's rigid thinking. We need to be open to new information, willing to reevaluate our views, and ready to admit when we're wrong. That doesn't mean flipping our strategy every week, but it does mean staying flexible and intellectually honest. Some of the best investors aren't just good with numbers, they're great at staying curious, humble, and adaptable. In times like these, that mindset can be just as valuable as any stock in your portfolio. The fifth step is to strengthen your personal edge. In uncertain markets, your advantage won't come from trying to outguess the news or time every day perfectly. It comes from knowing what you're good at and building a strategy around that. Maybe you understand a certain industry deeply, maybe you're great at spotting value others overlook, or maybe you're just more patient than most. Whatever it is, your edge is what allows you to make better decisions than the average investor, especially when everything feels unstable. Chaos reveals who's guessing and who's grounded. If you can identify your unique strength and double down on it, you stop playing a random game and start playing your own. That's how real, repeatable success is built, even in the middle of a storm. Now, one example of a strength that almost everyone has, often without realizing it, is being familiar with a specific industry. Maybe it's the field you work in or something you've followed closely for years. That kind of insight is incredibly valuable because it gives you an edge most investors don't have. When you understand an industry deeply, researching companies within it becomes easier, faster, and more accurate. You can spot what's real and what's just hype. You know what a solid business looks like in that space, and more importantly, what it does. That kind of advantage leads to better stock picking because you're not just looking at numbers, you're seeing the full picture. Another crucial part of investing, especially in chaotic times, is having access to the right data. Without it, you're basically navigating a jungle blindfolded. That's where the sponsor of this video, EODHD, comes in. They provide a powerful API that delivers high quality data across a wide range of areas, from news and fundamentals to historical prices and more. Whether you're building your own tools or just want reliable info to guide your decisions, they've got you covered. covered. Definitely check them out. The link is in the description. Thank you so much for watching. But did you know that at least 90% of people have overvalued stocks in their portfolio? Well, if you want to know if that's you, watch this video right here on how to spot these overvalued stocks.